So I have always struggled as a teenager and also after, joining college and doing my higher studies. I've always struggled to focus for long periods of time. I've ended up procrastinating and wasted a lot of time. And only when I look back at that moment, I would be like, I wish I could have I I wish I did not waste that time watching reels or did not waste that time doing something mindless, boggling stuff just because I couldn't get my mind into the work immediately. Obviously, your mind will never sit for the work. Your mind will never be calm enough to do the work, to sit calmly. Because think about it, your mind is like a wanderer, it's a vagabond. It's a vagabond. And so, all it wants is stimulation, all it wants is dopamine. And it wants to scroll reel, it wants to go from YouTube to Instagram to TikTok to Reddit, it wants to check WhatsApp, it wants to check the DM on Instagram, everywhere. It wants to do everything but do something which actually takes a lot of which actually makes you sit calmly, makes you listen to another person saying something boring, which is actually important for you in the exam or whatever. So, right now, I'm going to give you a real life technique on how to, I wouldn't say it's a Pomodoro technique, but whatever. But something that has helped me is talking to people on, just opening my camera and talking to you guys. So, right now, I'm going to record myself studying and I'm going to get my work done. At the same time, I'm going to take a break and talk to you guys again. So this way, I'll get my work done. At the same time, I'll be doing something productive as I'll be communicating with my audience. This really helps me having a touch with the outside world because oftentimes I realize that when we are actually here studying or when we are actually here doing something very monotonous and boring, at the back of our mind, what actually runs is what is going on in my absence out there. It's called a FOMO phenomena, fear of missing out. You think about it. Calm down, bro. Calm down. You are you're afraid that you're gonna miss out on something just because you're not present there. Just because you're not present out there. Think about it. Like the last time you sat for studying or something, and you were actually paying focus for some time, and then suddenly something happened, or maybe you just wanted to start studying. Maybe you woke up in the morning and you had your breakfast, went through your morning routine, took a bath, did your push-ups and stuff. Then you want to sit down for work, but then there would be a certain urge inside of you that would want you to pick up the phone and see what was going on since since last night and till this morning up until now, and you would want to check up on that. This phenomena is called a FOMO phenomena, where you feel that you need to know something, whereas you actually don't. Think about it. If there was no, let's just say if we were in the 1940s or 50s or 60s, but there was no technology like this, what would be the first thing we would do in the morning when we would sit for coffee? Right now, we take our phone and try to connect with the entire world. People back then would open up the newspapers. They would immediately go to a coffee shop outside. People mostly would be outside with other people, talking and trying to get to know what's up. They're searching for, that was their way of getting dopamine. Their way of getting dopamine was dependent on the other person. The other person's way of getting dopamine would be dependent on them. There was a very intermixed connection. Something like something happened in their life, and I got to know that. And maybe he knows a lot of stuff too. I would ask him about that, and he would tell me, and then he would ask me some stuff that I would know, and then I would tell him. And we would share gossip, exchange gossip over teas, exchange news over teas. We would open up newspaper and read through it like crazy. This is how we used to be dopaminized in the past. But now the scene is we have a lot of information and power at our fingertips. We can just switch on our phone and see everything in front of us. We have to talk to someone, have to ask someone. We can just ask that person over WhatsApp, or we can just Google it. But even better. But what this creates is, what I'm gonna tell you is that this kind of takes away your attention span at the same time. Like back then, you would have that much of, let's just say I'm talking about the 1960s, you would have that much of patience to actually wait. After waking up in the morning, the first thing you do right now is check your phone. You get all the news, all everything, access to everything in this entire world, porn or whatever. Okay, mind it. And now, back in the 1960s, you would have to wake up in the morning, get through your work, bring the milk from wherever, get done with the household work, and then you would get to go out. Then you could gossip with your friends. Maybe, yeah, you get to know stuff, you get to share information. And if you want to watch porn, then you get to go out into the brothels with your friends, look at girls, get hard, maybe go out there and you know let a woman touch you randomly, or touch a girl, or whatever. What I'm trying to say is, you had to wait. Like there would be, how do I see it, like, do you get me? What I'm trying to say is, when you wake up in the morning right now, and versus back then you would have to do a set of work, set of chores before actually doing what you actually want to do, getting the dopamine. But now the dopamine is so instantly available that you take it for granted. You barely think about it even before even accessing it, or before even getting it. You don't even have to ask for it. So that is what I'm trying to say, that our reward system has kind of changed over the past I would say over the last 30 years. Over the last 30 to 20 years or 25 years, our reward system has kind of changed. I would say particularly the last 10 years, because of endless access of information and smartphones and Wi-Fi, 5G internet, and whatnot. Instagram has blown up like crazy, and these apps are designed in such a way to keep you engaged. Our reward system is so fucked up. We don't really have to think before getting rewarded. We don't even have to do any core, like, or go through a hard penance before getting rewarded. So it's pretty obvious this is gonna get applied, and this is gonna get implied to the rest of our lives. Like, you wouldn't want to sit and study hard and you know go through the actual work of trying to understand what the other person is saying. So boring it was. How boring, however boring the lecture sounds like or whatever, but you need to get your work done, and you can't do it because your brain is so used to the reward system that it's so easy for you to get rewarded. If you don't feel like studying, you can just go on the Instagram and scroll a little bit and then come back quickly. It doesn't work like that. So what you gotta do is you gotta calm down your mind and sit for studying. And when you don't feel like studying, you don't go to the internet, you don't go to Instagram, you don't go to YouTube. What you do is you close everything and look at the wall for some time. Close all the lights in your room, dim all the lights, and just look at the wall for some time. Stare at it like I'm staring at you guys right now. Is it that tough? So this is how you use plasticity, the brain's plasticity. Your CNS, your nervous system has something called plasticity inside the brain, neural patterns. You change it, you kind of change, you kind of sensitize. Your brain is so desensitized right now. You gotta make it more sensitive. You gotta force your brain, you gotta rewire it and tell it and make sure it knows for a fact. You have to like practice it every single day for a long period of time so that your brain gets used to it, gets more sensitive to it. You have to rewire your reward systems. So I thought of adding a small clip of me studying and stuff like that, but I guess won't be able to do that now. Whatever, that was it. I hope it helps you. I hope what I said made sense to you. And I hope this video gets pushed to the Indian youth. You know, youth needs to hear me. Kids needs to hear me. But I also want to know your. I would love to know your review on my videos, and I would also love to know whether you want me to make videos on native languages or mostly in English. Whatever. See you guys in the next one.